Every single day, a quiet conversation is happening inside your mind. Most people never notice it. They live inside it. Thoughts decide how you feel, how you react, how you act, and ultimately, how your life unfolds. If your thoughts are chaotic, your life feels chaotic. If your thoughts are fearful, your decisions become small. And if your thoughts control you, you slowly lose control over your direction. But here's the truth most people never learn. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who hears them. The moment you understand this, everything begins to change. This audiobook is about reclaiming that power, learning how to observe your thoughts instead of obeying them, how to calm mental noise, how to break destructive thinking patterns, and how to build a mind that works for you, not against you. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by overthinking, trapped in negative loops, or mentally exhausted for no clear reason, this journey is for you. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Audio Vibes, and share it with someone who needs mental clarity and control. Your support helps this channel reach minds that are ready to grow. Now, slow your breath, let the noise settle, and step into the skill that changes everything, learning to master your thoughts before they master you. Your life is shaped far less by what happens to you and far more by what happens inside your mind. Every decision you make, every emotion you feel, every action you take begins with a thought. Yet most people never learn how their thoughts work. They wake up each day reacting automatically to stress, to fear, to doubt, to pressure, without realizing that their inner world is quietly controlling their outer reality. This audiobook exists to change that. Most people believe their thoughts are facts. They trust every inner voice. They assume every worry is a warning and every doubt is a truth. Over time, this creates anxiety, overthinking, emotional exhaustion, and a feeling of being mentally trapped. Not because life is unbearable, but because the mind is unmanaged. Mastering your thoughts does not mean stopping them. It does not mean forcing positivity or pretending everything is fine. True mental mastery begins with awareness, with the ability to observe your thoughts instead of obeying them, to pause instead of react, to choose clarity over chaos. In this audiobook, you will learn how to step out of mental autopilot and take conscious control of your inner dialogue. You will understand why certain thoughts repeat, why emotions feel overwhelming, and why the mind resists change. More importantly, you will learn how to respond differently, calmly, deliberately, and powerfully. Each chapter of this audiobook is designed to guide you deeper into mental clarity. You will explore how thoughts shape identity, how emotions are triggered, how habits are formed mentally before they appear physically, and how to build a mind that supports you instead of sabotaging you. This is not about becoming emotionless, it is about becoming mentally steady. It is not about controlling life, it is about controlling your response to life. As you listen, allow yourself to slow down. There is no rush. Mental strength is built through understanding, not pressure. Let these ideas settle naturally. Reflect when needed. Apply what resonates. Because the moment you learn to master your thoughts is the moment they stop mastering you. Chapter 1: Understanding the Power of Thought. Every action you take begins as a thought. Before you speak, before you react, before you decide, there is a thought quietly forming in the background. Most people never notice this process. They live on autopilot, reacting to life without realizing that their thoughts are guiding their emotions, decisions, and ultimately their future. Thoughts are powerful because they repeat. A single thought may feel harmless, but repeated thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs shape identity. Identity dictates behavior. This is how people unknowingly build lives they never consciously chose, not because they lacked ability, but because they never learned how to observe and direct their thinking. Mastering your thoughts is not about controlling every idea that enters your mind. That would be impossible. It is about understanding which thoughts deserve attention and which ones quietly sabotage your growth if left unchecked. Your mind is a tool. If you don't learn how to use it, it will use you. In this chapter, we will explore 3 key parts that break this concept down clearly and practically. Part 1. Why thoughts feel so real. Thoughts feel powerful because the brain does not distinguish between imagination and reality very well. When you replay a failure, your body reacts as if it is happening again. When you imagine success, confidence rises. This is why thoughts influence emotion so quickly and deeply. The problem is not thinking itself. The problem is believing every thought without question. Many thoughts are outdated, exaggerated, or rooted in fear rather than truth, yet people treat them as facts. A thought like, "I always mess things up," feels convincing, but it is a conclusion, not evidence. When thoughts go unchallenged, they become invisible rules that guide behavior. People avoid opportunities, delay action, and lower expectations, not because they are incapable, but because their thinking has quietly narrowed their world. Awareness is the first step. Once you realize that thoughts are interpretations, not commands, you begin to regain control. Part 2. How thoughts shape emotional reality. Emotions do not appear out of nowhere. They follow interpretation. The same situation can create stress in one person and calm in another. The difference is not the event, it is the thought attached to it. A delayed response becomes, "They don't respect me." A mistake becomes, "I'm not good enough." A challenge becomes, "This is too much." These interpretations trigger emotion, which then drives reaction. Over time, this cycle creates emotional habits. Anxiety becomes familiar. Frustration becomes automatic. Self-doubt becomes normal. Mastering your thoughts means breaking this cycle, not by suppressing emotion, but by questioning the interpretation that created it. When you change the thought, the emotional response begins to shift naturally. Part 3. Learning to observe instead of obey. The most important mental skill you can develop is observation, the ability to notice a thought without immediately acting on it. This creates distance, and distance creates freedom. Instead of reacting, you learn to say internally, "I'm noticing this thought," not "this thought is me." Let me share a story that brings this to life. A man from Boston worked as a mid-level sales manager. On paper, his life looked stable, but internally his mind was constantly loud. Every rejection felt personal. Every slow month triggered panic. His thoughts told him he was falling behind even when he was performing well. One day, after a particularly stressful week, he began writing down his thoughts at the end of each day. What he noticed surprised him. The same patterns repeated again and again. Catastrophic thinking, self-blame, worst-case assumptions. Instead of trying to force positive thinking, he practiced observation. When stress appeared, he labeled it. When fear arose, he paused. Slowly, the intensity decreased. His thoughts didn't disappear, but they lost authority. Months later, his performance improved, not because he worked harder, but because his mind stopped draining his energy. He became calmer, clearer, and more confident, not because life changed, but because his relationship with his thoughts changed. Mastering your thoughts does not mean silencing your mind. It means becoming the one who listens without being controlled. Thoughts will come and go. That is natural. What matters is which ones you choose to follow. When you stop letting every thought dictate your direction, you reclaim mental space. Clarity grows, emotional stability strengthens, and growth becomes intentional instead of accidental. For now, remember this: you don't need better thoughts, you need better awareness of them.
Chapter 2. Understanding the nature of your thoughts. Before you can master your thoughts, you must first understand them. Most people live their entire lives believing that their thoughts are facts. Whatever appears in the mind feels true, personal, and absolute. But this belief is the root of unnecessary stress, anxiety, and self-sabotage. Thoughts are not commands. They are not predictions. They are not reality. They are mental events, temporary signals created by the brain. Your mind's primary job is not happiness or clarity. Its job is survival. To do that, it constantly scans for danger, mistakes, and uncertainty. This means the mind often exaggerates problems, imagines worst-case scenarios, and replays past failures. When you don't understand this, you begin to believe that something is wrong with you. In reality, your mind is simply doing what it was designed to do. Understanding the nature of your thoughts creates distance, and distance creates freedom. When you realize that a thought is something you have, not something you are, you stop being controlled by it. You begin to observe instead of react. That shift alone can change the entire direction of your life. In this chapter, we will explore 3 key parts that break this concept down clearly and practically. Part 1. Thoughts are automatic, not intentional. Most thoughts arise automatically. You don't choose them. They appear without invitation. A memory, an image, a fear, a judgment, suddenly it's there. This is important to understand because people often blame themselves for their thoughts. They feel guilty for thinking negatively or ashamed for imagining failure. But automatic thoughts are not a reflection of character. They are a reflection of conditioning. Your past experiences, environment, conversations, media consumption, and emotional moments all influence what thoughts arise. A stressful experience from years ago can still shape your thinking today without your awareness. When you don't recognize this, you take responsibility for thoughts that were never consciously chosen. This is why trying to stop thinking negatively rarely works. Suppression only strengthens the thought. The real skill is observation. When you observe a thought without judgment, it loses its grip. You begin to see patterns rather than problems. The goal is not to control every thought. The goal is to stop being controlled by them. Part 2. Thoughts shape emotion. Emotion shapes action. Thoughts are powerful because they trigger emotion. Emotion then drives behavior. This chain happens so quickly that most people never notice it. A single thought like, "I'm falling behind," can trigger anxiety. Anxiety leads to avoidance. Avoidance reinforces the belief, and the cycle repeats. Once you understand this chain, you regain power.
You realize that emotion is not coming from reality, it is coming from interpretation. This doesn't mean emotions are wrong, it means they are informative, not authoritative. You don't need to argue with every thought, you simply need to question whether it deserves your attention. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is it based on evidence? Is it moving me forward? If the answer is no, you don't need to fight it. You let it pass. Let me tell you a story that brings this to life. A man from San Diego worked as a sales consultant. On paper, he was doing well, but internally, his mind was relentless. Every slow week triggered thoughts like, I'm losing my edge, or soon everyone will realize I'm not good enough. These thoughts created constant anxiety. He overworked, second-guessed himself, and lost confidence during client calls. One day, during a coaching session, he was asked a simple question. Are these thoughts facts or habits? That question stayed with him. He began writing down recurring thoughts and comparing them with actual results. Slowly, he realized something powerful. His thoughts were exaggerated stories, not reality. As he learned to separate facts from mental noise, his emotional state stabilized. Confidence returned. Performance improved. Nothing external changed. His relationship with his thoughts did. Part 3. Becoming the observer of your mind. The most powerful shift you can make is becoming the observer of your thoughts instead of their prisoner. Observation creates space. Space creates choice. When a thought arises, you don't follow it automatically. You watch it. This is where mental mastery begins. A simple daily practice is mindful awareness. When a thought appears, mentally say, I'm noticing a thought. This small phrase changes everything. It creates separation. You are no longer inside the thought, you are observing it. Over time, this practice reduces emotional intensity and builds clarity. Another powerful habit is thought labeling. Instead of saying, I'm anxious, say, I'm noticing anxious thoughts. This reminds the mind that thoughts are temporary experiences, not permanent truths. With practice, your inner world becomes calmer, not because thoughts disappear, but because they no longer dominate. Understanding the nature of your thoughts is a turning point. Once you realize that thoughts are automatic, temporary, and often inaccurate, you stop letting them dictate your life. You become more grounded, more intentional, and more emotionally stable. This is not about perfection. Some thoughts will still pull you in. That's part of being human. But now you will notice sooner, you will recover faster, and you will act from clarity instead of fear. For now, remember this truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices them. Chapter 3. Taking back control from negative thought patterns. Negative thoughts are not random. They follow patterns, and once a pattern is repeated often enough, it begins to feel like truth. This is how the mind slowly takes control of you without your awareness. One negative thought leads to another, then another, until your mood shifts, your energy drops, and your behavior changes, all without any conscious decision. Most people believe they are victims of their thoughts. They say, I can't help it, this is just how my mind works. But the reality is different. Thoughts only gain power when they go unchallenged. The moment you learn how to interrupt negative patterns, you reclaim control over your inner world. This chapter is about breaking that cycle, not by fighting your thoughts aggressively, but by understanding how they operate and learning how to redirect them with calm authority. In this chapter, we will explore 3 key parts that break this concept down clearly and practically. Part 1. Recognizing repeating mental loops. Negative thoughts rarely appear once. They repeat, they loop, and the more they loop, the more convincing they become. A single thought like, "I'm falling behind," can turn into a mental soundtrack that plays every day. Over time, it stops feeling like a thought and starts feeling like reality. The first step to regaining control is recognition. You don't need to analyze every thought, but you do need to notice patterns. What thoughts show up when you're stressed, when you're tired, when something doesn't go as planned? These moments reveal your dominant mental loops. Many people are surprised when they first notice how often their mind repeats the same messages. Some loops are critical, some are fearful, some are pessimistic. None of them are permanent unless you keep feeding them. Awareness weakens repetition, and repetition is what gives thoughts power.
Part 2. Separating yourself from the thought. One of the most important mindset shifts you can make is learning that you are not your thoughts. Thoughts are mental events. They pass through the mind, influenced by memory, emotion, and habit. When you identify with every thought, you surrender control. When you observe them, you regain it. Instead of saying, "I'm not confident," you learn to say, "I'm having a thought that I'm not confident." This small change creates distance. It allows you to respond instead of react. The thought no longer defines you, it becomes information. Let me tell you a story that brings this to life. A woman from San Diego worked as a marketing strategist. On the outside, she was successful. Inside, her mind was relentless. Every presentation triggered thoughts like, "You're going to mess this up," or "They're going to realize you're not as capable as they think." These thoughts didn't stop her from working, but they drained her confidence and energy. Eventually, she learned a simple practice. Whenever a negative thought appeared, she paused and mentally labeled it. This is anxiety speaking, not truth, not prediction, just a mental pattern. Over time, the thoughts still appeared, but they lost authority. She stopped arguing with them and stopped obeying them. Her calm increased, her focus improved, and her confidence followed. Control doesn't come from silence, it comes from separation. Part 3. Replacing reaction with direction. Once you can recognize negative loops and separate yourself from them, the final step is direction. You don't leave the mind empty, you guide it. The mind always needs a focus. If you don't choose one, it will default to fear or habit. This is where intentional thinking matters. Instead of asking, "What if this goes wrong?" you ask, "What is the next useful step I can take?" Instead of replaying mistakes, you focus on learning. Instead of worrying about outcomes, you focus on process. This doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing thoughts that move you forward rather than trap you in stress. A powerful daily habit is thought redirection. When you catch a negative pattern, gently redirect your focus to something constructive, your breathing, your next task, or a grounded statement like, "I am handling this one step at a time." This trains the mind. Slowly, new patterns replace old ones. Here is a simple exercise you can use daily. At the end of the day, write down one negative thought that showed up repeatedly. Then write a calmer, more grounded alternative, not overly positive, just realistic and steady. Over time, this practice reshapes your default thinking. Mastering your thoughts doesn't make life easy, it makes you resilient. When negative patterns no longer control your mood, you reclaim your energy. When your mind becomes an ally instead of an enemy, stress loses its grip. And when you learn to guide your thoughts instead of being ruled by them, you step into real mental freedom. For now, remember this: your thoughts only control you when you stop paying attention to them. Chapter 4. Building mental discipline that lasts. Mastering your thoughts is not a one-time realization. It is a discipline, a skill that must be practiced, refined, and strengthened over time. Just as physical strength fades without training, mental control weakens when it is neglected. This chapter focuses on how to build mental discipline that lasts, not through force, but through structure, awareness, and consistency. Most people believe discipline means pushing harder, forcing focus, or relying on motivation. In reality, discipline is not about intensity. It is about reliability. It is the ability to show up mentally even when emotions fluctuate, energy is low, or circumstances are uncomfortable. Mental discipline allows you to stay aligned with your values rather than being dragged by impulse. Without mental discipline, even the best insights fade. You may understand how thoughts work, recognize negative patterns, and even want to change, but without disciplined application, the mind quietly returns to old habits. This chapter bridges understanding and execution. In this chapter, we will explore 3 key parts that break this concept down clearly and practically. Part 1: Why motivation is unreliable and discipline is essential. Motivation feels powerful, but it is unstable. It rises and falls based on mood, environment, sleep, stress, and emotion. When motivation disappears, most people stop practicing mental control. They wait to feel ready again. This is where progress collapses. Mental discipline means continuing the practice even when motivation is absent. It means observing your thoughts even on bad days. It means choosing response over reaction when emotions are intense. Discipline is what keeps you consistent when inspiration fades. Think of mental discipline as a contract with yourself, not a punishment, but a commitment. You don't argue with it every day, you simply follow it. A person in San Diego working in sales once struggled with emotional reactions during client calls. When deals went well, he felt confident. When they didn't, his inner dialogue turned harsh and anxious. Motivation helped occasionally, but inconsistency kept him pulling back. Change happened only when he committed to a daily mental routine, 5 minutes of reflection before work and 5 minutes after. Over time, emotional swings softened, his reactions stabilized. Discipline created reliability where motivation never could. Part 2: Creating simple mental systems instead of willpower. Willpower is limited. Systems are sustainable. Mental discipline becomes easier when it is built into structure rather than relying on constant self-control. Simple systems reduce decision fatigue and make thought management automatic. Examples of mental systems include a fixed daily reflection time, a pause rule before responding emotionally, a nightly mental review of one challenging moment, a consistent morning mindset reset. These systems do not require effort once established. They operate quietly in the background, guiding behavior without force. Here is a simple but powerful mental system. Whenever you notice emotional intensity, silently ask one question: is this thought helping or harming me right now? This question interrupts automatic thinking. It does not judge the thought. It evaluates its usefulness. Over time, this trains the mind to self-correct. Let me tell you a story. A woman from Brighton worked as a secondary school teacher. Her days were emotionally demanding. Student behavior, administrative pressure, and time constraints constantly tested her patience. She often replayed stressful moments long after work ended, draining her energy and affecting her personal life. Instead of trying to stay positive, she implemented a simple system. Every evening, she wrote down one stressful thought and reframed it realistically, not optimistically, but constructively. At first, it felt artificial, but within weeks, her mind stopped looping automatically. the system replaced rumination with resolution. Discipline turned emotional chaos into clarity. Part 3. Strengthening the mind through repetition and self-trust. Mental discipline grows through repetition. Each time you pause before reacting, you strengthen control. Each time you redirect attention, you reinforce authority over your thoughts. Each time you follow through on a mental practice, you build self-trust. Self-trust is crucial. When you repeatedly act in alignment with your intentions, the mind begins to believe you. This reduces inner conflict. Thoughts become less aggressive. Resistance softens. Discipline is not harsh, it is stabilizing. Here is a short daily exercise that strengthens mental discipline without pressure. At the end of the day, identify one moment where you handled your thoughts well, even if the moment was small, especially if it was small. This reinforces competence rather than failure. Mental strength grows fastest when success is acknowledged. Over time, disciplined thinking changes identity. You stop seeing yourself as reactive. You begin seeing yourself as grounded. Calm under pressure becomes normal. Emotional resilience becomes natural. Mental discipline is not about controlling every thought. That would be impossible. It is about choosing which thoughts deserve your attention and energy. When discipline is built correctly, the mind no longer feels like an enemy. It becomes a tool. For now, remember this: the mind respects consistency. Discipline is how you earn that respect.
Chapter 5. Training the mind through daily mental discipline. Mastery of thought does not come from understanding alone. It comes from training. Just as the body becomes stronger through repeated physical exercise, the mind becomes clearer, calmer, and more focused through daily mental discipline. Without training, the mind remains reactive, easily distracted, and controlled by impulse. With training, it becomes steady, intentional, and resilient. Most people believe their thoughts are something that simply happen to them. They wake up already overwhelmed, already anxious, already distracted, and assume this is normal. But what feels normal is often just untrained. A disciplined mind is not one that never struggles. It is one that knows how to return to clarity again and again. Mental discipline is not harsh. It is not rigid. It is not about controlling every thought. It is about building awareness, consistency, and intentional response. Over time, these qualities reshape how you experience life. In this chapter, we will explore 3 key parts that break this concept down clearly and practically. Part 1. Why the mind needs structure. An unstructured mind drifts. It jumps from worry to distraction, from memory to imagination, rarely resting in the present moment. This mental chaos is exhausting, and it often leads to stress, indecision, and emotional instability. Structure gives the mind boundaries, something to return to when it wanders. Structure does not mean a strict routine that feels oppressive. It means creating intentional anchors throughout the day, moments where you pause, moments where you reflect, moments where you choose focus over reaction. Think of structure as guidance rather than control. When the mind knows there is a system in place, it relaxes. It no longer needs to chase every thought or emotion because there is a trusted process to follow. Even simple practices like starting the day with clarity instead of your phone or ending the day with reflection instead of distraction create mental order. Over time, this order becomes internal. The mind learns how to self-regulate. Part 2. Daily practices that strengthen mental control. Mental discipline is built through repetition. Small daily practices shape thought patterns far more effectively than occasional deep sessions. The goal is not intensity, it is consistency. One powerful practice is intentional focus. Choose one task and give it your full attention, even if only for a short period. When the mind wanders, gently bring it back. This trains concentration and reduces mental noise. Another practice is thought observation. Instead of reacting to every thought, learn to watch them. Notice patterns, notice emotional triggers. Over time, you realize that thoughts rise and fall on their own. You don't need to chase them. A third practice is mental rehearsal. Before entering a challenging situation, visualize yourself responding calmly and clearly. The mind does not distinguish strongly between imagination and experience. This prepares you emotionally and mentally. Let me share a story to bring this to life. A man from San Diego worked as a sales manager in a competitive industry. His performance was strong, but his mind was constantly restless. He overthought conversations, replayed mistakes, and worried about outcomes beyond his control. The stress followed him everywhere. He began practicing 10 minutes of mental discipline each morning. Not meditation in a traditional sense, just sitting quietly, observing thoughts without judgment. At first, it felt pointless. His mind was loud, distracted. But over weeks, something changed. He noticed gaps between thoughts. He became less reactive. Conversations felt calmer. Decisions became clearer. Nothing external changed, but internally, he gained control. His mind became a tool rather than a battlefield. Part 3. Turning discipline into identity. The final stage of mental training is identity. When discipline becomes part of who you are, effort decreases. You no longer force yourself to practice, you simply live with awareness. This shift happens when you stop seeing discipline as something you do and start seeing it as something you are. You become someone who pauses before reacting, someone who reflects instead of ruminating, someone who chooses clarity over chaos. This identity is built through evidence. Every time you respond calmly instead of impulsively, you reinforce it. Every time you refocus instead of giving in to distraction, it strengthens. Over time, this becomes your default state. A woman from Brighton experienced this shift while working as a school administrator. Her days were filled with interruptions, complaints, and constant demands. She used to go home mentally exhausted, replaying the day over and over. She began using brief mental check-ins throughout the day. One breath before responding, one pause before reacting, one moment of awareness. Over months, her internal world changed. Stress no longer controlled her. Her calm presence began influencing others. Mental discipline didn't make life easier, it made her stronger. Mental training is not about perfection. You will still experience distraction. You will still feel emotional. That is human. Discipline is about returning to center again and again without judgment. When you train your mind daily, thoughts lose their power to control you. Emotions soften. Focus sharpens. You become internally stable even when life is unpredictable. This is the true mastery of thought. Not silence, but command. Not suppression, but awareness. Not force, but consistency. For now, remember this. The mind you train today becomes the life you live tomorrow.
Chapter 6. Becoming the master of your inner world. Mastery of thought is not about control in the strict sense. It is not about forcing the mind to be quiet, eliminating negativity, or maintaining constant positivity. True mastery is subtler, calmer, and far more powerful. It is the ability to observe your thoughts without being ruled by them, to choose your responses instead of reacting automatically, and to live from awareness rather than impulse. By this point in the audiobook, you've learned how thoughts shape emotions, how beliefs form behavior, how identity influences choices, and how repeated mental patterns quietly define your life. Now everything comes together. This chapter is about integration. It is about turning understanding into inner authority. Most people live inside their minds as prisoners. Thoughts appear, emotions follow, actions happen, all without conscious choice. Mastery begins when you step out of that automatic loop, when you realize, I am not my thoughts, I experience them. That realization alone changes everything. In this chapter, we will explore 3 key parts that break this concept down clearly and practically. Part 1. Shifting from thought ownership to thought observation. The biggest turning point in mental mastery happens when you stop identifying with every thought you have. Thoughts are not commands. They are mental events. They arise, pass through awareness, and disappear unless you attach to them. Most stress, anxiety, and self-doubt come not from reality, but from unquestioned thought patterns. A thought like, I'm falling behind, feels real because it goes unnoticed. The moment you observe it, instead of believing it, its power weakens. Observation creates distance. Distance creates choice. This is not an intellectual exercise, it is a lived practice. When a stressful thought arises, instead of responding emotionally, you pause and notice it. You acknowledge its presence without engaging. You let it exist without resistance. Over time, the mind learns that it no longer controls behavior automatically. This shift feels uncomfortable at first. The mind wants engagement, it wants reaction. But with patience, observation becomes natural. You begin to notice thoughts like clouds passing through the sky. Some are dark, some are light. None define the sky itself. You are the sky. Thoughts are the weather.
Part 2. Building emotional authority through awareness. Thought mastery is incomplete without emotional mastery. Emotions often feel stronger than thoughts because they involve the body. A tight chest, shallow breathing, a racing heart, these sensations pull attention inward and demand reaction. But emotions, like thoughts, are experiences. They rise, peak, and fall if allowed to move naturally. Most emotional suffering comes from resistance. Fighting emotions strengthens them. Avoiding them prolongs them. Observing them dissolves them. Emotional authority means allowing emotions to be present without letting them dictate behavior. You can feel anxiety and still act calmly. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel frustration and still respond wisely. This skill transforms pressure into clarity. Let me tell you a story that brings this to life. A man from San Diego worked as a high-level sales executive. On paper, he was successful. Internally, he was constantly anxious. Every performance review triggered fear. Every slow month felt like failure. His thoughts raced. His body stayed tense. One evening, after a panic-filled presentation, he realized something profound. His emotions were not the enemy. His resistance to them was. He began practicing awareness. When anxiety arose, he noticed the sensations instead of fighting them. He breathed into them. He stayed present. Over time, the emotional waves lost intensity, not because stress disappeared, but because his relationship with it changed. His confidence stabilized. His decisions improved. He became composed under pressure, not emotionally numb, but emotionally skilled. That is emotional authority. Part 3. Designing a life that supports thought mastery instead of constantly draining it. Your environment, routines, and inputs either strengthen mental discipline or weaken it. Start with mental hygiene. Just as you care for your physical body, you must care for your mental space.
What you consume matters. Constant negativity, comparison, and distraction overload the mind and weaken awareness. Create intentional stillness. Even 5 to 10 minutes of quiet reflection each day trains observation. It strengthens presence. It recalibrates the mind. Structure supports freedom. When your days have a rhythm, consistent sleep, movement, learning, reflection, the mind feels safe. When the mind feels safe, it stops overreacting. One simple daily practice can anchor everything you've learned. At the end of each day, reflect on one moment where you reacted automatically and one moment where you responded consciously. No judgment, just awareness. This builds mastery quietly, consistently.
Let me tell you one final story. A woman from Boston worked as a clinical researcher. Intelligent, driven, and disciplined, yet internally overwhelmed. Her mind never stopped, planning, worrying, analyzing. She believed thinking more would give her control. Eventually, burnout forced her to pause. She didn't change careers, she didn't escape her life. She changed how she related to her mind. Through observation, emotional awareness, and intentional routines, she stopped living inside thought loops. She began living with her thoughts instead of inside them. Years later, she described the change simply. My thoughts still appear, but they no longer decide who I am or how I act. That is mastery. Mastering your thoughts does not mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes clearer. Decisions feel grounded. Emotions feel manageable. Challenges feel navigable. You stop being pulled in every direction by the mind. You stop arguing with yourself internally. You stop being ruled by fear-based narratives. Instead, you live from awareness, and from that place, growth becomes natural. This is what it means to master your thoughts before they master you. Not control, not suppression, but conscious presence. You've reached the end of this audiobook, but what you've gained here is not meant to stay as words in your mind. It is meant to become awareness in your daily life, thought by thought, choice by choice, moment by moment. You've learned that thoughts are not facts, that emotions do not have to control your actions, that awareness creates freedom, and that mastery does not come from forcing the mind, but from understanding it. When you observe your thoughts instead of obeying them, you reclaim your power. You stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. Remember, you don't need to master everything at once. You only need to notice, to pause, to choose a better response today than yesterday. That is how real change happens, quietly, gradually, permanently. Carry this awareness with you into your conversations, your work, your challenges, and your moments of stress. Let it guide you when your mind feels loud and life feels overwhelming. The more you practice, the more natural calm becomes. The more clarity replaces chaos, the more control returns to you. If this audiobook brought you value, insight, or a moment of clarity, take a second to like this video, subscribe to Audio Vibes, and share it with someone who needs mental clarity and inner strength. Your support allows this channel to continue creating long-form content designed to help you grow, reflect, and evolve. Thank you for spending this time with yourself. Thank you for choosing awareness over reaction. And thank you for being part of the Audio Vibes journey. We'll see you in the next audiobook from Audio Vibes.